YouTube visibility and monetization, 5 steps to revive and monetize your YouTube channel. With me, if you've never met me before, I'll introduce myself a little bit more in a moment, but my name is Alexandra and I'm a visibility strategist. And I've been doing this for 15 years and I just am so passionate about helping people be seen and heard and yes, make money doing it. So this is for you if your channel once had a decent following, maybe you've been on for a decade or more even, and you'd like to revive it and get monetized, or you started a YouTube channel years ago, but it's stagnant or growing really slowly. And or maybe you have or want to create a brand new channel. So wherever you're at is perfect. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I've been in each one of these 3 things over the last 3 years. Over the last year, over the last 12 months. I have literally had each of these. I've been in each of these different categories. And so wherever you're at is perfect because you can, put in the intention and put in the action and get your channel revived and monetized. So go ahead if you want, type in the chat. I would love for everybody to be participatory. And if you can, let me know if you're number 1, number 2, or number 3. So if you had it for a while, have you, just had it for a few years and maybe it's just growing slowly, or are you completely brand new to YouTube? Or maybe you're creating a new channel. And what is your YouTube goal? And by the way, feel free to take notes. I usually take lots of notes whenever I host something, whenever I participate. So, okay, so Anna is number 2. I know I have a couple of people who are watching and maybe watching the replay who are completely brand new. They are starting a new channel from scratch. I have a couple of clients who were number 1. They were actually had a channel that was doing pretty decently, went completely flat, was barely getting any visibility, and now they're monetized. So wherever you're at is perfect. So today we're going to talk about what are the qualifications for monetization you might not even know. What are the 5 steps I've developed to help you revive and monetize your YouTube? I've done this myself and I've worked on this with my clients as well. The dynamite effect to growing on YouTube. So I started discovering these patterns and I thought, that's really cool and very interesting. And so I wanted to share that with you. Number 4, we're going to talk about, okay, just making sure my,
cool and very interesting.
Sorry, you know what? I hear an echo. So if you hear an echo, let me know. Number 4, we're going to talk about upcoming events. And lastly, we're going to do the number 1 tip to grow really fast on YouTube. Sorry about that. I'm hearing an echo. So let me type yes if you hear an echo, no if you don't hear an echo. I just want to make sure that, because I hear it and I don't know why I'm hearing it. And if I'm hearing it, you might be hearing it. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and I think I know what it is. And okay, I think I figured it out. All right. Thank you for bearing with me for that. Okay, so let's continue. So my mission is to empower you to be boldly seen and heard. This is something I'm truly passionate about because I spent decades, and I'm talking about decades because since I was a kid, really scared to speak. And so I want to I'm making it my mission to help you be seen and heard, right? Share your voice. And so now I work with aspiring YouTubers, creators, entrepreneurs, leaders to help them share their message more powerfully. I want you to share your voice. And I want to make it as easy as possible for you to share your voice. So on top of all of that, I'm also myself a YouTuber. I've had multiple YouTube channels, but the reason I was inspired to create this class and really help people now is that a year ago, I created a brand new channel. in a completely new industry, true crime. And I haven't checked the statistics since last week, but since last week when I did this, I had 900,000 views, so almost 1 million views on this channel. I was able to reach the first tier of monetization within 9 months, and then be fully monetized within 10 months in a completely new industry. So if I can do it, you can do it. And that's why I'm really passionate about sharing this information with you. On top of that, of course, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a coach, a consultant, a strategist. I've been doing this for 15 years. So I've worked with, over the years, between one thing or another, thousands of students or thousands of people have worked with me in one capacity or another. So I'm really, really grateful for all the experience I've had working with so many different entrepreneurs over the years. I'm also best-selling author of 2 books, and this is one of them, Sculpture Life from Sketch to Masterpiece. A speaker and a trainer, I have a master's in communication, and I'm a mindset and energetic healer. But really, I think that scrap all of that other stuff. The first thing that I mentioned, the fact that I was able to create a brand new YouTube channel from scratch, make tons of mistakes, and still manage to do it, completely new industry, something I wasn't even really that familiar with, to be honest. I just had a passion for it. I was doing it part-time and still managed to grow and monetize it. So I think that alone really helps me have from that mindset. So your voice matters, your purpose matters, and your message matters. And that's why I want you to grow your YouTube channel, because it's really an amazing platform for you to reach more people with your voice, help and serve more people with your message. So the first thing, we got to get into the right mindset, okay? And for those of us who are into manifestation, right, we need to be it. We need to be the thing that we wish to be. And so, get into the frame of mind that you are a YouTuber, right? If this is what you want to do, you need to be a YouTuber. I am a YouTuber, right? It took me a little while to get it, but I am a YouTuber. You are a creator. You create content. And you're an influencer. Maybe not like a multi-million, influencer, but you're at least a micro influencer, a nano influencer, right? So keep that in mind as you embody this new thing that you're becoming. And so let's go right into, how are you eligible for YouTube monetization? Because I think many people don't even know this. And the beautiful thing is, and I hope you're all excited about this, YouTube has now made it easier to monetize. This is like brand new, like 3 months ago, YouTube created a lower tier to begin to monetize your YouTube channel. And I wish I would have known that a year ago when I created my channel, because I feel like I would have done things a little bit differently, and I probably would have monetized even sooner, which is why I'm so happy that you're here watching this, because you're going to get this information now when I didn't even have this, available to me a year ago when I started. So the first tier, the lower tier of monetization, starts with you only need 500 subscribers. It used to be 1,000 to be monetized. Now you only need 500. So it's a little more attainable, right? And then either 3,000 watch hours in 1 year or 3 million views in 90 days. I still think the 3 million views in 90 days is challenging, but doable if you put out viral content, And so some of the monetization features that you get at this first tier is you can have memberships, like subscriptions. You can actually sell memberships. You can get tips, which are super chats, super stickers, super thanks. And those are like tips that your audience can give to you as like a thank you for sharing the content. Or as you build your audience, you get more people really, a lot of times you see that when people start to build and build and build their community, more people tip them. I've seen $5, I've seen $50, I've seen $100 super chats, super stickers. So, definitely one way to earn income, additional way to earn income on YouTube. And then there's shop and merchandise feature. So this is great if you have actually have merch, right? If you have whatever it is that you like to sell, they're helping to, YouTube wants to like help you integrate that into their platform. So type me if you're excited about YouTube monetization and the possibility of even getting monetized sooner because of this tier 1. Now we have tier 2 monetization. So tier 2 is what it was before, what it was originally, which is that you need 1,000 subscribers. And by tier 2, it's really like the full monetization. So if you ever hear me say full monetization or fully monetized, that's what I mean when I refer to that. So either 4,000 watch hours in 1 year or 10 million views in 90 days. And I always say, again, the 10 million views is pretty challenging, I think, to get. But, if you're a creator that has viral content, it's definitely possible. And so when you're fully monetized, you're going to have everything in tier 1 that I mentioned before, memberships, shop features, super stickers, super thanks. And then you're going to get the option to have watch ads on your videos, on your long videos. And then you're also going to be able to get ads or paid for your shorts. So we can have long videos or short videos. And YouTube seems to be really pushing the short videos. And I think that's a way to compete with TikTok and Reels, Instagram Reels. And so they have an entire, strategy of helping you to get paid for your shorts. And just to be like fully transparent, I actually make more on my shorts than on my long videos because I get more visibility on my shorts. So it just depends on where you're at in your channel and your strategy. But definitely a good way to make money is by testing and trying out different types of content. So this is what it looks like when you reach monetization, the first tier. You're going to get invited into the YouTube Partner Program. And you see at the bottom here, it says apply now. So that you're going to have access to that first tier of monetization. And what's beautiful is that it does say, I think it says it takes up to 30 days. But for me and for my clients who have gotten monetized, it's only taken like about 48 hours. So I think maybe if your content is a little bit more controversial or risque or something like that, maybe it might take longer potentially. If you're in a different country, maybe it might take longer. My clients and I who have done this are in the United States, so potentially maybe there could be some additional things that need to take place if you live outside of the US. I don't know, but I could imagine why some things might take longer than others, and that might be one of them. But that's what it takes, when you reach the first tier of monetization. And so one of my clients actually got the YouTube Partner Program she met the eligibility in 6 days. And by 8 days, she was accepted into the program. And because she was rocking and rolling and we created a plan for her, she actually was fully monetized, meaning she got to 4,000 watch hours. Now she had an existing channel, but she was just stagnant. She was not getting a lot of views at all. And she was able to get the first tier and the second tier within 16 days from starting our plan. So it's definitely possible. Remember, like I said, if you're an existing channel or like me, where if you create a completely brand new channel, it's definitely possible for you to monetize your channel. So now we're going to get into the 5 steps to revive and monetize your channel. The first step is your content. And with any social media platform, with any strategy, you need to start with your audience. who is your audience and what content do they need and want? And I put need and want because they may need, let's say, education, but they might want entertainment. And so maybe a potential strategy for your channel might be combining the education, entertainment, edutainment, as they say. I do a lot of that with my videos. And so I try to combine those elements to kind of give them what they want and need. What type of content gets you the most views and engagement now? So take a step back, assess your content in your channels. Like, let's say if you have if you don't have a YouTube channel yet, or if you have an existing channel, but look at all of your different social media platforms, right? Like take a holistic view on this and see what type of content gets you the most engagement and views now. Is it your educational videos? Is it your entertainment videos? Is it your memes? Is it posting cute quotes? Is it little short videos? What is it that is getting the most engagement now? So take an assessment of that. And what I suggest is always when you're starting to create a content plan for YouTube is that you test different types of content to see what your YouTube audience engages with. My audience, for the most part, on my new true crime channel, engages mostly with my shorts. With my educational channel, they mostly engage with my educational videos, like my tutorials, classes, and things like that. So what strategy on one channel doesn't work for the other channel. And so that's why I suggest when you're really starting, you really want to get monetized quickly, test different types of content because something might stand out, right? Or maybe all of it works, right? And that's great. And then you can pick and choose what you want to do, what content you like best, and do more of that. And here's a cool thing. Your creativity, when you start to really be intentional about your content, will increase over time. So I did my own challenge. I've done my own challenge with one of my channels to get that channel monetized, to grow that channel and get it monetized. And at first, the content, I'm not going to lie, was really kind of crappy, right? Because I went from a very stale and I had to kind of like start putting out new content again. And so what happens now is that like I'll see something, I'll read something in the news and I'll be like, oh, that would actually be a really good piece of content. Or I'll see another video, another creator post a video and I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. And I'll just kind of table that idea and either make something that same day or table it to another day and create something with it. So you're going to get better ideas over time. So I want you to know that it gets better. If this is a challenge for you, if creating content or creativity is a challenge for you, I promise you it will get better the more you put yourself into this process. Okay, so the second step is consistency. And here's the thing, guys. The algorithm favors consistency. So I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but it's happened to me where I started posting after not posting for a few months. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I used to get 100 likes every time I posted. And now I'm getting 3 likes, right? Like there's a huge disconnect there. And it's because the platform was like, you haven't posted in a while, honey. we don't like you so much anymore. You're on kind of like our SHIT list. And so it's important when you're first starting to get back into, if you have a YouTube that you want to revive, or if you're starting a new YouTube channel, to start getting in the rhythm of posting consistently. But here's the thing. You don't have to create 90 different pieces of content that first week when you first start posting. Take some of the videos that you've already posted. If you create videos on other platforms, like let's say Facebook Lives or other videos for other platforms, start posting those first and start putting out and testing out different content on YouTube, because YouTube is its own there's a whole audience on YouTube. and your audience is on YouTube, but also we want the YouTube, the platform, the algorithm is looking for your YouTube audience. So that's why you just need to start to test and put out content and just be consistent with it. So I suggest the first weeks that you start posting, that you post 5 to 7 days per week. So every day if possible, but if not, try Monday through Friday. So just start posting as much as possible every day. And when I'm talking about every day, I'm not talking about like 10 times per day. I'm talking about like 1 time per day. Can you post 1 time per day? Give yourself a goal and challenge for the next few weeks to post 1 time per day. That is the challenge, okay? So that's consistency. The third step is community. And what's really cool is that YouTube, like I said before, there's a YouTube audience, right? YouTube has its own community features that help you build connections. So that's really cool. But that's not going to happen overnight. Building a community on YouTube takes some time. But you can take advantage of those those community features. And why not leverage your influence where you already have an audience and traffic? So building the community, that takes some time. But if you want to get the monetization quickly, where is your audience right now? Where do you have most of your audience right now? So take stock, let's say on social media. Maybe you have already an engaged Facebook or Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. I actually started posting on Reddit and for my true crime channel, and I found that Reddit, excuse me, is an amazing is an amazing place that drives traffic to my videos. And I only got into that over the last year. So I was not a Redditor at all. And so finding where you have already an audience or traffic that can bring people over to your YouTube channel. Do you have an email list? Even if it's got 10 people, right? I actually started to grow one of my channels by emailing and having different, posting different educational videos for my channel. And that's how I started growing that channel. And just by posting the videos on my email list. So that's one way to drive traffic. What do you have, a website or a blog or a podcast that already has traffic? If you do, then that could be another place to, to send people. Like, let's say if you have a podcast, you can say, hey, I'm just starting my new YouTube channel. Head over there. I just posted a video. And by the way, if you do have a podcast, a really amazing tip is to create a YouTube channel that has the video of your podcast so that you can separate the audio, have the video for YouTube and have the podcast audio for your podcast, right? And so you can always point to either one. Like your video, your YouTube can always point to your podcast and your podcast can point to your video on YouTube. So where do you already have traffic? So this is really interesting. One of my clients, I was helping her to create a plan to grow her YouTube. And I saw this graph. This is like the graph in the back end, like the analytics for one of her videos. And the traffic sources, like the green is like the watch page, and all of these different things were different parts of YouTube. And then all of a sudden I see this super vertical line in blue. And I was like, what is that? It's so like out of whack. And my client texts me. She's like, hey, I hope it's okay. I shared the video on my Facebook page. And I was like, oh my God, yes, it's great. Like, look, you've got all this traffic coming from, you got a decent amount of traffic coming from YouTube, but this astronomical amount of traffic coming from her Facebook group where she already has an audience. And here's another graph. And you look, the blue line is her Facebook audience that went to that particular video. So she got a ton of traffic from her Facebook video, and that helped her grow pretty quickly. So where do you already have traffic? Okay. And it's going to take some time for the YouTube algorithm to to really get you that the organic traffic. And I will say most likely, like the typical scenario is it's going to take a few months for the YouTube algorithm to really start to understand what content you're putting out and your audience. And so that's why I say if you want to grow quickly, if you already have an audience, then point them over to YouTube and encourage them to subscribe and look at your videos. So the fourth step is customization. And I say this, I call it customization because there are some elements in YouTube, in the back end of YouTube, that are very specific to YouTube. And knowing these different elements and how to take advantage of them can really help you optimize not only your videos, but could help you increase your visibility like 100 times, like 100x. Okay. So some of the elements are the title. YouTube videos and Reddit as well, but of the top, the most popular channels or the most popular platforms, YouTube is the only one that has that you have to put a title, right? Like you don't need it for Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn. So really getting an optimal title in 100 characters or less is really important. And then there's also the cover photo or the thumbnail, which is the image that shows up of your video on YouTube. If you mess that up, you might get like 0 views. On the other hand, if you have an amazing thumbnail, that could be the difference. That could get you to go viral. So that's why these elements are kind of are important. Not kind of, are important. Tags and keywords. Are you having the right keywords in your videos that are going to get you to your audience and get you those views? Playlists. So a playlist is like kind of like a folder of different content categories that you create. YouTube wants your audience to stay watching your videos. So a playlist is a great way to put lots of videos in the same category in one place so that your audience consumes all your videos in that category. Description. So that's like the caption, the description of the video. You want that to have keywords and have optimal information in there that's going to help, build your audience and maybe even point you to other videos. And, there's ways to make that more optimal. And then there's captions and subtitles. So short videos especially do really well when there are captions, like text right in the video. That really helps people because sometimes people aren't listening. They don't have the sound on. So if you have captions, that can actually help your audience. And so just as an example of this is a real world example from my channel. I posted a video a few months ago where I got like 100 views in, I don't remember exactly if it was 12 or 24 hours, but it says here first day. Okay. So it was probably within the first 24 hours. And that's not typical. That was not typical for my channel. And so I was just trying to figure out what is going on. Why is it not, why are there only 100 views on that video? And so I typed in the title into ChatGPT. I got a better title. I replaced the title. And within 1 hour, it went from 100 views to 1,931 views. So like that's 20x almost, right? And so I use this as an example a lot because it was just that one little tweak that shifted the algorithm. And the algorithm's like, okay, we like this video. We know where to send out this video to your audience. Boom. Almost 2,000. I picked up, 10 subscribers. And this is a few months old. So it's actually gotten more than, I think it's almost at 3,000 views now. So, that's one example of how important a title is. This also happened last week. My client messaged me and she's like, I just posted and I didn't get very many views on this. I don't know what's going on. And she also, that's not typical for her videos either. So I did the same process. I put in the title into ChatGPT, got a better headline, changed the headline, and it wasn't exactly within the hour, but within a few hours, I guess between like maybe probably between hour 3 and hour 6, it got up to 1.7 thousand, 1,700 views. And so that was just one little tweak that I made, but that tweak, changed everything for that video. So those are some of the examples of how you can customize it to really increase your reach. And the reality is that nowadays you have less than 3 seconds. And in some cases, it's like a 0.5 second, right? A split second to grab the attention. Make sure your headlines, your subject lines, your captions, and your content grab your audience's attention quickly. That's why those elements that I mentioned, those customized elements to your channel or for your content, are important factors for you to consider. And then the 5th step is what I'm calling virality, right? Like the viral factor, going viral. So remember, we want to grow quickly because you need to get 4,000 watch hours in 1 year or 10 million views in 90 days. So for either of those two things to happen, you've got to get the views. You've got to get in front of people. And so virality is going to help you, especially if you want to do it quickly. Thinking viral is going to help. Okay. So what topics pique the curiosity of your audience? What gets them to comment and share your content? And you look at content that's gone viral, it's usually been shared a lot of times, or it gets people to comment, right? Even good, bad, or the ugly, right? Like it gets a lot of people commenting and a lot of people sharing. So think about your audience, think about your brand and your content. What are some of the things that pique your curiosity? It just happened really cute. Just today, I was on one of my channels and a video from another channel that I have was on like the homepage. And I was like, and it stood out to me. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. And it took me a second to figure out that was my own content. So I was like, okay, well, that's good. That means I'm doing my job, that I'm creating content that's piquing curiosity, right? So I was like, okay, cool. Check. So what are some of the things that pique the curiosity of your audience? Trending topics. I love Twitter, even though I don't have a huge following on Twitter, but I love Twitter because I get trending topics. I find out what's news, what's happening. But you can also get trending topics just from the news. You can get trending topics on any social media platform. There's always, when you see people starting to talk about something, like what's trending right now, as of today, October 12th, is the Iraqi and Palestinian conflict. Like that's been trending for the last few days. You see a lot of people posting statements on that. So that's a trending topic. And what else? Many of us have niche audiences, right? Like we focus on a smaller audience, but that's not going to necessarily go as viral as if you have if you create content that's a little bit more general. And this is something you can test, right? So let's say creating content on, let's say featuring celebrity chefs, that's a more of a general audience versus let's say you create, barbecue, Louisiana style barbecue. I don't really know about barbecue. That's like the first thing I thought. Something very, very specific, right? Now it's possible you can get 1 million people to watch your videos on Louisiana style barbecue. Very possible. But just the fact that you cover celebrities is going to get you a more general audience, like celebrity chefs I'm referring to. So they're still in the food category, but one is more general, more mainstream, and one is more specific. The key is to have a strong hook. You got to grab their attention in a split second. And I like to say the 3 because many of the different channels, the different platforms, you need to be on there for at least 3 seconds. Typically, for it to count as a view. Like on Instagram, it's 3 seconds. Facebook, it's 3 seconds. TikTok, it's only 1 second. But most of the channels, you have to be on there. YouTube has not specified how long you need to be on a video, on a short, for it to count as a view. The only metric that they've shared so far is that you, on your long videos, your longer videos, not your shorts are under 60 seconds. Your longer videos, those you need to have people watching for 30 seconds or more for it to count as a view. But for the short videos, they haven't specified yet what counts as a view. But still, you need to get them really quickly. 3 seconds is typically the benchmark on YouTube. Like when you look in your backend, your analytics, 3 seconds, it's like how much have you captured their attention? And if you look at almost every single video, the drop off after 3 seconds is usually very like it's a stark difference. So we really need to grab that attention very quickly. That could be through music. You can maybe have movement. You can have catchy text. You can put a title on there that grabs the attention. So those are the viral factors. And here's the thing. I started to notice, and I referred to it a little bit ago when I was talking about the agenda, that there's this dynamite effect on YouTube. And I noticed this most with YouTube because I'm a nerd and I love analytics. And I was looking at at all the analytics, and I started to notice the same pattern, that if you haven't been posting consistently and all of a sudden you do, it's like there's a flat line. And then once you start to post, all of a sudden it's like a slow burn. And then all of a sudden, when you've been posting consistently, it's like it catches fire and it blows up. And so if you think of dynamite has that fuse, typically like a long fuse. You light it by posting. Post anything, post something. You post something, you post a video, and then there's a long, maybe slow burn where you continue to post, and all of a sudden, one day, one of your videos is going to blow up. Maybe by blow up, that might be 1,000 or 3,000 or 10,000. I'm not saying it's necessarily going to get 1 million views, but it's going to be more. It's going to be viral for you. It's going to be an overwhelming amount of views for your channel. And so I started to notice that. Here's an example. This is one of my clients who went viral. She posted it. This is the analytics on a video. She posted the video right over here. And you notice it's like a flat, a couple of little spikes up, and all of a sudden it got like, this particular day had 200,000 views, but within that time period, it got to 1 million views, then 2, then 3 million views. So this is kind of like what I'm referring to when I'm talking about, this is the dynamite effect for a viral video. Sometimes viral videos don't go viral right away. A lot of times they've been out for a while before they go viral. Sometimes they go viral right away, right? But any video that you've made, still has hope that it could go viral. So this is an example of a channel, like the dynamite effect for a channel. And so this person posted here at the beginning in April, and then posted again in May, and didn't do anything else. Not what I would consider consistent, but just posted. And then all of a sudden they had this huge spike here. And then they've gotten like a consistent amount of views on their channel. It's like it increased. So I would consider this a dynamite effect on a channel, right? So this is not a specific video. This is for all of their videos. And so we just need to post. So that's what I like to say. If nothing else, shock the algorithm today or tomorrow, if it's late for you. Shock the algorithm. You just need to post. Just put something out there. This is actually an example of that channel that I'm reviving. And I would look, if you notice, it's like, again, like a flat line over here. And then I posted one day, and then I posted, and then it's just kind of like starts to spike it, right? So it's like, it's shocking the algorithm. You just need to start posting, start putting content out there. And if you are familiar with a defibrillator, that's a device that when unfortunately somebody, like, their heart stops, a defibrillator is like a shock that helps to pump the heart so that your heart starts beating again. And I find it so funny or interesting because I'm such a nerd with the whole, like, this is what all those graphs look very similar to the heart rate monitors, right? And so it's like a flat line, you shock it, and then all of a sudden, it starts spiking again, right? We want a healthy channel is one that has those spikes, right? And maybe like consistent spikes, right? We don't want that flat line. And so what's another example of when you think of a car that stopped, the engine has stopped, and you put those the plugs there to help jumpstart the car, right? That's another example of it giving the juice, giving the power when the engine has stopped, right? It's a jump start to the car. And so that's what I actually like to refer to it as a 21-day jump start. And so if you're really ready to grow your channel and monetize it as quickly as possible, let me know who's here. Type yes in the chat if you want to monetize, revive and monetize your YouTube channel. Let me know who's here, because I haven't seen anyone typing in the chat and commenting in a few minutes. And this is what I suggest. This is the plan. So week 1, start with your content and consistency. All I want you to do week 1 is look at your content. Start testing, trying different forms of content, and just posting consistently. Okay? Like, that's the shock to the system. That's the shock to the algorithm. Just post, okay? And get into a consistent habit. I don't care what your content looks. You can have the worst content on the planet. I just want you to post and get into the rhythm of posting consistently, okay? Week 2. Now start to look at your other community, right? Where do you already have that traffic? Post on your other platforms. Maybe by week 2, you've started creating a little bit better content too. You're like, okay, I want people to come over to my YouTube. And looking at some of those customization features I mentioned. And then week 3, you can really start to test TNT, which is another form of dynamite, right? But I call it test and tweak. Test and tweak, see what's working, right? Because if you're posting consistently for 3 weeks, you have a lot of information. You know what's working and what's not working, at least in those 3 weeks. And you can start to test. Maybe you were posting educational content. All of a sudden you think, okay, what's trending? Maybe I can do a video on what's trending this week and see if that gets more views, if that gets more visibility. If you have a small niche market, maybe you apply your that whatever that topic is to a more general audience, right? And you can do this for any topic, for any category. Like I said, I started a completely new channel and something I wasn't even really very educated in. So anybody can do this. So let's take an assessment. And, because I like to say, you don't know what you don't know until you start to assess it, right? Where do you stand now? Where do you stand now with your YouTube? How close are you to being eligible for YouTube monetization? In the case of my client, one of my clients who just got monetized, she had no idea where she was at. until I went in there and looked at it and said, "Oh my gosh, you're actually closer than you thought you were." She was way off on the numbers. So it's important to know where you're at. What's worked to increase your visibility, right? Going back to the content, what's working? What's working to get more views? And what can you do to get monetized as quickly as possible? What can you do for your channel to get monetized as quickly as possible? If you're actually ready to go, and just like my client, she didn't know where she was at, and she got tier, within 6 days, she met the first tier of monetization. If that's you and you want to get started right away, I'm actually offering that one-to-one training session. So it's a one-to-one customized training session over Zoom, where I'm going to help you understand your analytics. And hopefully you'll get to love the analytics, because I am such a nerd. I love analytics because it gives me so much information. It makes me better. And so I want you to at least understand them so that you can improve your content and get there faster, right? We need to know where we're at. So to know what we need to do, right? To create a plan. I'm going to give you some, this is a one-to-one training session, and I'm going to give you some key recommendations to reach monetization quicker. So I'm going to look at your audience, just like what I did with what I've done with my clients. I've created plans for them to get there quicker. Suggestions of what content to post and when. So I'm going to give you some suggestions, some recommendations of the types of content for your channel, for your industry, that are really going to get the most visibility. And of course, if you have any questions, I'll be available to answer any questions that you have. So this is a special limited time price. And, but I just wanted to just say one more time that, I've done it. I know how frustrating it could be, and I'm going to get emotional. I know how frustrating it could be to have a channel that you've been putting your heart and soul into that is not growing, or is flat, or you're not getting clients, or you're not making any money, and you're like, what can I do? Right? Like, I figured it out for myself. I've helped my clients do it as well. And if this is something you're called to grow your YouTube channel, which I hope you are, because, there's so many amazing benefits of being on YouTube as a creator, or an educator, or any service provider, that this is kind of like the jumpstart that you need to get there. So we will end with the number one tip to grow really fast on YouTube: shock and controversy, right? I already talked about the shock the algorithm, but this is like shocking controversy, anything that's shocking and or controversial. And so this is your polarizing topics. And this is the type of stuff that, like, for just to be fully transparent, I hate this. I don't like controversy because I'm a people pleaser. But when I post anything that has polarizing viewpoints, or that's a little bit controversial, I get more views. I get more engagement because people want to comment on it. Strong opinions on news and events. Think about what's happening in current events today. If you have a strong opinion on it, you are going to get people to comment, to agree with you and disagree with you. And controversial public figures. It just so happens that, what's happening now in the world with the conflict, there's a lot of politicians that are speaking up. But before this happened, when I was on my true crime channel, if I mentioned President Biden for something completely unrelated to politics, I get people commenting on, a lot of negative comments about Joe Biden on my videos. So, and again, I wasn't even talking about politics, but people have to chime in and they have to weigh in. So controversial public figures, religion, politics, all of that is going to get people to watch, and it's going to get people strong opinions. Outrageous and risky actions. So we're talking about things like, one thing that's really kind of interesting. There's the pranks. Pranks get a lot of attention, and I don't know if have you ever seen a video on like channels that do like baby animals. that are going to get in trouble or hurt themselves or something like that, or like if somebody is going to hurt themselves, right? And it's kind of like you're waiting for it to happen. That's something that gets a lot of attention, a lot of curiosity. People want to see what's going to happen, right? So anything that, again, going back to the viral factor, anything that's piquing that curiosity is going to get people to want to watch. And so anything that's shocking. Now, the pro tip that I have there, I guess is a caveat in a sense, is make sure that it aligns with your audience and your brand. So I actually did a whole video yesterday where I said, if you're going to make a statement about the Israeli and Palestinian conflict, try to align it to your brand. To your audience. What, like if you work with moms, maybe the angle that you can talk about, if you're going to do a statement, is the angle, of moms losing their children or families being broken apart. And that way you align it with what their values are, with your audience's values. So that's my purpose. So it's a way to like be shocking or controversial while also making it relevant for your audience. Now, here's an example. This is actually one of my clients. She's a dancer and she's absolutely beautiful. She had a super viral video that has, as of today, has over 5 million views. And this is not like bad, right? I wouldn't call this like a bad or controversial, but it is shocking because she's dancing 9 months pregnant. And so you have a lot of people that make a lot of beautiful comments and drop a lot of beautiful comments. And you also get people that leave not so nice comments. But regardless, people are in awe because they see a pregnant woman dancing, super pregnant woman dancing. And so that's shocking, right? It stands out. And so shock doesn't have to be negative, right? Just like I also mentioned with like the animals. If you see like an animal about to run across the street, something like that, but is totally fine. Or I saw one recently, it was like the kittens that emerge from the side of the road, all of these kittens. And you're like, it's shocking, it's has a lot of odds, a lot of emotional weight to it, right? So whatever that is for your brand, for your audience, do that and you will grow quickly. I've seen it happen to so many people. I did it the slow way, partially because I don't like controversy. I'm a people pleaser. I don't like controversy, but I've been noticing that as I do more of it, I actually get more comfortable with it. And so I push myself to do a little bit more edgy content, a little bit more. So you can do the same thing if you don't like shock and controversy. And here's the thing. It just takes one video to get you monetized. One short, which is under 60 seconds, that gets 10 million views, boom, you're eligible for monetization. Or maybe it's 2 videos of 10 million views each. If you do one really outstanding video, 1 hour video that people watch the entire way through, that's not likely, but let's say in theory, if that happens with 4,000 views, all you need is one really outstanding video that gets of an hour long, that gets 4,000 views. Maybe it ends up being 5,000 or 6,000 because not everybody watches 100% of the way, but you get my point. In theory, you just need one video that's really good, gets a lot of attention, and you could get monetized. So it's really, if you look at it like this, it's way more possible than you might have even thought. And if you have an existing channel, you actually may be closer to eligibility than you thought. Like what happened with my client who didn't know that she was closer than she thought. So monetization may be closer than you know. How would you feel if you could share your passion and purpose online and get paid to do it? Also, before I forget, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do. And hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. It's going to help this get into the algorithm, right? It's going to like shock the algorithm. So it's like, hey, this is an important topic that people want to know more about. And so thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Before you go, If you have a question, go ahead and type that in. But I would love to know, what was your main takeaway from today's topic? Monetization is closer, maybe closer than you know. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I hope you join me on the challenge. Remember, it's free to attend the challenge. You can upgrade to VIP if you like, and you get the one-to-one session with me. Or you can get the one-to-one session with me, and we can get started on that right away. If you want to just start rocking and rolling with your YouTube, growing that as soon as possible. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I look forward to seeing you on the challenge. Bye.